Thanks, C4EM, for all of that. This week, we are joined by Kenny, who is visiting us for like 2 more months. 2 more months, right?
Yes.
And she's a PhD student at UPF, heavily involved with Freesound. Since how many years? Freesound?
4.
4. PhD candidate, and I'm going to stop pretending that I can tell you about her because she's about to tell us about herself and her amazing work.
Yeah.
Welcome, Penny. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Okay. So I'm gonna try to be slightly faster, just because of time. Yes. So I'm gonna talk about Freesound. Not need to read the title even. I think it's gonna be clear. I already had an introduction. Maybe something more about me. I studied musicology with a specialization in music technology in the University of Athens. It was a combined degree of bachelor and master's, doing my PhD. And I'm also interested in live coding, and I also have some experience with traditional instruments. If someone likes that, you can come to me. I had a piano, flute, guitar, and taburas. Okay, so Freesound. I hope most of you know what Freesound is. In case you don't, I cannot open it right now, but, well, it's an online collaborative sound database. And there you can find a lot of things. The only thing that is strictly forbidden is music that is a whole piece. If you have loop segments or short pieces or things like that, you can have it, but no music. Of course, it's an open source project, and it started in 2005, so 20 years. And what is nice about Freesound is that we have all this pipeline of things which we can have analysis of audio, and we can evaluate new research that happens to our lab. So it's really nice, and we have all these tools, and we also have the Freesound API that you can actually interact in a more programmatic way than just the web interface. So a little bit more about Freesound. So we have a lot of sounds, so 720,000 of them, all Creative Commons. We have a lot of users, like 16 million. We have a lot of downloads, around 280. And yeah, if we look a bit more, it's not a extremely big application, but for the standards of academia, it's actually have taken quite some computational resources for that, because we have 70 daily unique visitors, and there are downloaded around 50 to 60 terabytes per month. So that's quite a lot to handle. And yeah, it's also nice to see that 1 out of 2 visitors download a sound, and that we are cited in so many academic papers directly or indirectly. And it's more than 1,000. And you can learn more about numbers in our blog. So yeah, I can share also the slides later. Okay, a bit more about the API. So for you to better understand what is going on in this long-term project, it started in 2005, and then the API came really fast after. In between, there was also an early acoustic similarity, which is quite nice for 2011. It wasn't really around in these types of projects to include that on the web and on this type of data sets and databases. Yeah, and then it was changed in a new version in 2014, and then there were changes in between. Also in 2023, we had the new interface of the web. And yeah, in 2025, just a year ago, we introduced some changes in the search, and we made the sound analysis better. So I want to point out that even though the interface is the main way to interact with it, we have around 1 million search queries per week in the API, which is nice. And we also have a lot of clients to interact with. I have to say, because we did changes in 2025, like less than a year ago, The ones that we have updated or we are about to update is Python, JavaScript, and Super Collider, and the rest we are working on it, or maybe someone could try to update them. Yes, and also an interesting thing is that from these 1 million search queries, only like 1,000, 2,000 of them are about acoustic search. And if acoustic search doesn't make sense for you now, I will explain really soon. So, like, we have this project, and then we are like, okay, that's a nice project. So do we have any problems? So everything goes smoothly. And what it's really obvious to realize really early on is that the bigger it gets, the more difficult it is to manage the content. And that becomes a problem when it takes, when you have like 50,000 new sounds every year. And what it's also really obvious from the beginning is that if we want to explore the sounds, we need to describe the audio with different ways. So we have the need for context-aware characterization. So I like to give this example because I think it gives the problem really nicely. And like I have a talk with the moderators of Freesound, which are like these people that either approve or reject the sounds. And what he was saying basically was that poorly tagged sounds annoyed him, and these sounds will never be found in searches, and they're almost completely useless, which is something that I personally like to remember because I feel like some type of like empathy with the sounds. Like I feel like they are lost. Like I want to help them be discovered. Like some sounds have something to say and they don't appear in the searches. So like we have to do something about it. But because it's a project that not only experts interact with, we have problems with the metadata. Sometimes people annotate poorly, and that leads to unexpected results, or sometimes the unexpected results come from different reasons, like two words have the same meaning. And yeah, we want like kind of to have more filters to search and disambiguate these cases. And one of the approaches we want to do is like two words, organization and description. So generally, what we want to do. So what I just said. So we want to describe and characterize both acoustically and semantically. And we also want to tailor the analysis because every sound in Freesound is analyzed with different descriptors. How can we tailor that? We have so much diversity in the data. We cannot just say, oh, let's have like this pitch detector for everything. And we, of course, through that, we want to help uploaders and Freesound users, but also creators. And we also want to evaluate the impact that what we think will help has in the real world scenario. Okay, so yeah, a bit more like general things. I'm gonna skip them, but generally we want to make data accessible. We want to understand them. We want more tools to understand what's there and how to explore them and how to support other ways to create things with them. So yes, one main characteristic of Freesound is searching. So we want to focus on navigation. And also we have two things that are important. One is to filter the search, so to make it smaller, like to make it more accurate. The other is to expand the search. So how can we find new ways to have more results with the same queries? And yeah, that leads us to the first approach we want to do. So it's like why do we want to organize it? And of course, the two first bullets is just what I just said. Like we want to improve searching and exploration. And we want to have some processes that are informed of organizational scheme. So that means we want to find some type of structure, some type of taxonomy that helps to that. And for that, we can also So for that, we made around taxonomy. I'm not going to stay into that too much. We introduced to Freesound to 2025. Yes. Um, I already talked about these things a bit on my previous talk. Sorry for the ones that weren't there. But also we have a taxonomy, so we also tried to automate some of these things. And like we were involved for this task a lot. We were publishing in decays mostly, like 2024, 2025, and now. So what we were wanting to do is like, okay, now we have this taxonomy that is easy for the users to use. It's kind of simple and not too complicated. And like, but what we needed automation for that, for multiple reasons. And one of them is that we want to annotate all the sounds that were there before we introduced this feature. So we can not only include sounds that are annotated from the user. I'm going to talk a little bit more for that later. But how we approach automatic classification is a bit through multimodal information and hierarchy in the model. And we just want to explore it a little bit more in the case challenge that happens this year. Okay, so in case it wasn't clear, I wanted to like take it a bit step by step, and I want to say how we actually implemented it on Freesound.
Okay. That was interesting.
There's
But
always a
it
first time.
was easy to fix.
Yes. Okay.
Let me just make sure. No. Wait, yeah, no, it's fixed.
Yes. Okay. So yes, I wanted to showcase some examples. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if it's easy to paste the links. Yes, just in case someone like is interested more on them. But like with this slide, I kind of wanted to point like the diversity of the apps. So I'm gonna start with how different they are. For example, probably you're not familiar with them. Maybe you're familiar with Hardware, which has like a Freesound integration actually. Um, so you know, you go from really like um, general purpose DOS to like some new interfaces on the web, like Ethnosphere, and then you have like hardware, like Source, and also some interfaceless or like text interface type of thing, like Mirk from Anna, actually. So shout out to that. And yeah, like the possibilities are many, but also I wanted to point a bit more how some of them kind of look similar. So we have a lot of cases that the sounds are organized in a 2D or 3D in some cases, like type of way, or in a grid or in a like another type of latent space to the organization. But it's a really common case, and like and then if we think about the similarities, it's like interesting to see things like what is the main purpose, like how similar there are, and like what goes in, what goes out, how they interact with the interface, and what is the processes behind the interface, and yeah, how in general they use Freesound, and how they interact with the data. So we analyze some of these things. I'm gonna give like some quick statistics. For example, we saw that in 50% of these apps, Freesound is really on the front end. So the purpose of the app is to discover Freesound. As an example, I'm going to give like, um, like the opposite. For example, those like Ardor or Mixcraft, don't belong to that 50% because the main purpose is to do something else. And then Freesound is just a tool to kind of enhance this experience. Yeah, so it's around 50-50. And then what we looked is how you can interact with Freesound. And in the interesting thing of all the apps, it's only 11% of them you can actually interact in a high level with them, meaning you have filter or you, for example, have two search modes, which is a surprising low number we discovered we have. And from all apps, again, we realized that 78% of them use text querying. So all these things we were talking about, all these acoustic descriptors that are on Freesound, all these features, like they are not really used in these apps. And 10% is acoustic, around another 10% is a similarity search. And yeah, and the apps that actually allow you to combine text and acoustic information is only 3 cases, which is, yeah, not what we were expecting. Also, they don't use filters, and even if they do, they filter by license of duration, but usually that option is not even there. And sometimes they display some extra metadata, usually like the tags and the title, so you can understand a bit more about the title or the license again. And there were like only 3 cases that actually showed some acoustic information like BPM or key or scale. So then we started thinking that, like, what is going on here? So we are thinking, at some cases, you have to be a bit restrictive to have like optimization in the performance. So you want to not have too many things, so the performer can actually not get lost to the details maybe. But on the other hand, we realized that the Freesound maybe it's only partially realized. We haven't actually explored. We already have so many apps, but maybe we can actually push the limits a bit more. We can see what we can do more with the acoustic side, with the similarity side, with the new features we put, with the categories and all these things. Yes, and that's the last part, last small parts of the talk, that I'm jumping again through the last question, like retrieval is like really important in a case like that, because it's the way that you obtain your sounds. And we see that some types of retrieval are a bit underexplored. So yeah, we wanted to kind of explore that a bit more. And for example, we wanted actually to ask users, when we actually press the filters, to tell us what is their opinion about the change of the results through filtering. So, for example, we also compute some statistics of that. For example, if you filter by a category or by another any other of these filters, how different is the top results, the top 10, top 100 results that people search? So how much filtering change the top results that the user is going to see? And yes, we want to evaluate it. We want to do. We are actually setting up an experiment now to the interface, and we also want to do an experiment to what would users have to say when they make music? For example, something that is really important in the music making, and which is a bit more loose in the interface, it's that you cannot usually pre-listen the sounds. It's not about choosing the sounds by listening all of them, but a sound appears and you have to deal with it. So we want to kind of measure if this type of filterings can give more control to them, or if not give more control, how they impact their creativity, and then how they can help them explore new possibilities. So yes, I'm coming close to the end, and I just wrote some things just to remember, because maybe the details are not so important after all. But it's something that is nice as a researcher is like these large collaborative databases are challenging to handle, maybe more challenging than someone that happens to go there as a user realizes. So it's a really nice opportunity to do research with it, and we can already see that through organization and better characterization, we can actually improve search and exploration. And this tool can be accessible from either the web or the API for all type of users. And also, I think something which is nice to remember is that like research and Freesound kind of inform each other. So what is nice about this type of research is that we implement state-of-the-art or new tools there because we already researched for them, but then we have feedback. And then after we have feedback, we can actually improve our tools. And then it's a really like loop type of process, which is really nice to have. And it's nice to have this opportunity, and it's nice to have actually the opportunity that so many user experiments. We already have done a few, and we can do even more, and ask people if, like, about their opinion. And yes, last but not least, maybe I even focus a bit on the creative part, but that's just an angle to see how you can improve, like how these tools can help improve, like retrieval, but also you can help in research projects to do like pre-processing or, as I said before, like data set creation, and have like better pipelines for retrieving data for all purposes. And I wanted to close with, I just want to point out one more time, as I already said, Freesound is a community. It's not just a long-term project. Like the reason that we can do this, we can do research there, is because people go to Freesound and people upload sounds to Freesound. So like some people you can get involved with is actually engage with like the forum, actually even rate sounds if you like them or don't, like put a low rating. You can actually import and credit sounds properly. A lot of people make data sets in academia. They don't credit Freesound correctly, and we also cannot know that these data sets exist. Freesound Labs, if you have a project or a data set that is not there, you can tell us, we can put it there. Of course, you can upload your own sounds. You can actually open some pull requests if you want to Freesound repository on GitHub. Or if you don't want to do that, just report the bugs. Just open an issue maybe. And yeah, I mean, you can just have fun. You can build data sets, you can build apps, and that's already nice for you to do. It's really nice for us to see that. And of course, for the more hardcore people, they could make a donation or they could become a moderator for the team. And I wanted to close with that. Yes, because we are very community-based, we always listen to the feedback. So you can tell us anything that you think is wrong with new or old features. You can always like email us, and we are always open as a team, a small team, actually. But when we have time, we are always open for new ideas, new collaborations. So you can just reach us with a new idea, with a new collaboration we maybe have not think with your own project, and we will be happy to be involved if time allow us. Thank you.
Yay.